Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you guys about my journey taking and passing the NBCOT, so stay tuned. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you see that my lips are not as glossy in the beginning, it's because I didn't realize till the end. That's why they're glossy now. So, mind your business. Enjoy. I know it's been a while since I last recorded and uploaded a video, but I've been on a hiatus, a spiritual hiatus, because I was studying to take my NBCOT exam. So yeah, I just chose to focus on that, and I'm going to tell you guys about my journey. So as you can tell by the title, this is my journey on taking the NBCOT exam. First and foremost, I just want to say thank God. I want to thank God because without Him and my faith in Him, my trust in Him, and the perseverance that I had through Him, it would not have been possible for me to get where I am today. So I want to thank Him. I want to thank my family, and I want to thank my friends for sticking by me and understanding that I had to go on this hiatus, because during this hiatus, I could not even speak to my friends. It was just me, God, my family, and building up my faith again. So just to give you guys a background, because this is an important part of the story. My boyfriend passed back in November 2021, and since then, I'm not gonna lie, I was mad at God, and I thought I was over. It was one of those things where I was mad, but I never really talked about it. So like, I thought when I was taking my test and I started praying again, I thought everything was just, good. So the first time I took my test, honestly, I wasn't ready. I just took it just to like take it. And I thought, I didn't tell anyone I was taking it. I just took it and I ended up failing. So now the second time I was studying for the test. And, the week before I was supposed to take it, I told my mom I just didn't feel like studying anymore. Like, I just didn't have the drive for it. And she prayed with me. And then, like, she came to me later that day and told me that God gave her a message for me and basically told me to block out the world and just focus on studying. Like, don't talk to my friends, my OT friends, or any of that, because somewhere in me, even though I was proud of my friends and very happy for them, it was kind of now weighing on me like, it's your turn. Now you have to do it. It was like more pressure, I would say. So she was like, just block out the world and just focus on studying and, getting ready for the test. So now on the day that I was supposed to take test number 2, my mom prayed with me that morning. And I will never forget, during this prayer, she said, "And God, if she does not pass, let her know that you are still God, whether she passes or she fails." Right? So I took my test. And this time it was easier. Like, the questions were easy. I was going through it. The first time I finished with the hour to spare. This time I finished with the hour to spare as well. And I went back through the questions just because I'm like, you have 4 hours, use it. So I went back through the questions. I changed like 1 or 2 because like it wasn't not just a gut feeling, but I had a factual answer, so I changed it. And I submitted the test. So now I'm waiting for test 2 for the results. So when the results get here, this was back in March. The day of the results, I call my mom to pray with her before I look at the results. So she's praying with me. And once again, she's saying, "God, if she does not pass, I need you to let her know that you are still God." I opened up the test scores and I failed. Y'all, I was on the phone with my mom. I started crying instantly because it was just like, again? Like, those questions seem so easy. I don't care what anyone says. I know for a fact I answered enough questions right to get more than a passing score. And my mom told me, she said, "Sade, there's something that you are still mad at God for. And He told me to tell you this. Until you get back to Him, you won't pass that test." So I was still on a hiatus from my friends. I texted them to let them know, like, look, I didn't pass this time, but I'm still on a hiatus. This is deeper than just answering questions. I need to get back to my faith. So now, like, I was fasting, I was praying every morning, every night, reading my scriptures, really diving deep, going back to church online, of course, but still going back to church, really listening to the word of God. And I started feeling better, started feeling really good. Like I said, I was mad at God. After my boyfriend died, I was just mad. You get what I'm saying? And it's like I expected for him to just give me this because I had endured so much, when in all reality, he didn't owe me anything. He didn't owe me anything. I don't know who I thought I was. I just decided to call on God a week before I took my test and just thought, "Oh yeah, I'm going to pass it." No, it wasn't even real. So the third time, this time, I just, I prayed, I stuck to it. I'm still sticking to it. And the day of my test, I even wrote on my mirror. Sorry, guys. I even wrote on my mirror, Sade Palmer, OTRL, as of May 2023, in Jesus' name. And then I wrote, don't lose it and don't quit on yourself. Now, that's what I wrote. And every day I would look at it because it was on my mirror. I'm going to show you guys at the end. But yeah, so like when I went in for my test this last time, it was May 5th, I went to take my test. And again, my mom prayed with me, but the prayer was different. She didn't say what she said last time. I was listening to the prayer and, of course, attending to it. And everything just felt different. On my way to church, on my way to church, on my way to take the test, I had, I was listening to my gospel music, and Ty Tribbett's song came on, What Can I Do? And I started to cry. Like, I was like, God, just tell me what I need to do to pass this test. Like, just tell me. And I started to cry or whatever on my way to the test. And then I said one more prayer and I read my Psalms 91 before I went into the testing center. And I went in a little bit early. And, I prayed before I even opened up the test. And I prayed pretty much every question, especially the ones that I didn't know. I prayed and asked God to guide me to the right answer. Guys, when I said this last time, the test was hard. I felt like I didn't know any answers. It's just like the questions were just so intense. The first time, not bad. The second time, I felt like it was so easy. The third time, I had to rely pretty much on my faith. I took the test, and this time I had 10 minutes to spare before I even submitted the exam. Remember, all the other times I finished with 1 hour to spare. This time I was so careful, so patient when picking my answers because, like I said, I wanted it so bad. So then after, I submitted it, I prayed, and when I walked out that test room, I said, I'm leaving it in God's hands. There's nothing else I can do about it. I submitted it. Normally I would try to look up answers, but I'm like, no, I'm leaving it in God's hands. I did try to look up one answer. And then after that, I was like, no, Sade, leave it in God's hands. So now my scores didn't come out until the 10th. So like, I'm waiting. I wasn't anxious this time waiting for my scores like I was the first and second time. This time it was pretty much like I felt a sense of peace. And, the night before the test scores released, I started getting a little anxious again. So I started repeating to myself, don't lose it. You left it in God's hands, so leave it there. God will never leave you nor forsake you. So that morning, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I know scores came out around 6 o'clock, and I couldn't really sleep. Like I was on edge a little bit. So I went to my mom's room, and she was like, "Oh, you can't sleep," and I was like, "No," and she just kept smiling at me. It was like this. It was just very, very weird. She kept smiling at me. So, after it was like a little bit before I got the email saying my scores came out, my stomach started feeling uneasy. So I went to use the bathroom, and I was telling my mom about like her prayer. I was like, I don't know, I just feel like this time is different because your prayer was different last time than it was this time when you prayed for me for the test. So again, I was using the bathroom, and then I finally get the email that, oh, scores are up. So I go to my mom and I say, all right, let's go in prayer. So she praying with me. And I'm like, okay, let me go get my laptop and let me look. Guys, I opened it up. I opened up that score, and all I saw, like, when you go into it, it doesn't say you passed, but it's like it shows you your CEUs that you need to complete. So I knew I passed, and then I went to the student dashboard and I clicked it, and it showed me my score, and then it told me that I passed. And y'all, when I said I cried, whew, the tears I shed, because only God, I did not know anything. This was him telling me, even when you don't know, if you put all your faith in me, I will carry you all the way through. I had to drop everything and put my faith in God. And just by doing that, he gave me everything I've been praying for and fasting for. It's just like, just be patient and trust God. And I promise you, you do that. Like I said, he will never leave you. He will never forsake you. I was just so happy. My mom cried. She was screaming with me. And I stared at that computer screen for hours, just in disbelief. Like, God, like, you did it for me. Even when I was undeserving, you still granted me this. And I will never lose my faith in him again. I will never. Because he didn't have to, but he did. And for that, I am forever grateful. And I am here to help anyone who needs help, and anyone who needs tips, anyone who's been through this. If you need help, reach out to me. I will leave my email in the link below so you guys can just reach out to me, because I know it is a very, very long journey for some of us. And I'm just happy that I was able to get through it so I can tell somebody my story. And that's another thing that I got was like, I would have to tell somebody my story. Ooh. So, yeah, it was a journey, but I'm happy that I got through it. I'm happy that I'm able to tell somebody my story. And yeah, it was something. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys was, for those who want to know, my score. So the first test that I took, my score was a 441. And then the second test, my score was a 440. I actually went down a point. And the last time I went up to a 470. So I got 20 points over from where I from the score needed to pass, and 30 points over from where I was. As far as materials go, the first time I studied, I did use Therapy Ed, but I will say that book is very dense. So I just literally read it once. I did the quizzes, the test questions, but those honestly are nothing like NBCOT questions. So I wouldn't even waste my time, because they're a lot more challenging than the NBCOT questions. I also used the NBCOT study pack. I only was able to pass the full practice exam the third time, which is when I knew I was ready, because the first two times I didn't pass the practice exam. I like the NBCOT study pack, but the thing with that is like you don't get to see what questions you got wrong, which is good and bad, because the fact that I didn't pass, I was able to redo the practice test, and each time I got a different score. So it was like I knew my understanding was getting like better. I also utilized the missing piece OT, and I had tutoring sessions with Kim. I used her study guide, which was really, really good. And her tutoring sessions helped me a lot. Like, I would highly advise that you guys get tutoring with her if you feel like you're having trouble breaking down questions. She does a really good job. Another thing that I did use was AOTA PDFs. Those helped me a lot. Their questions were too simple, so I wouldn't really rely on their questions, but their study guides are really good. Lastly, my third time studying, I bought True Learn, and I used their study bank, and I did all of the questions. That study bank is chef's kiss. I would purchase it 10 times over. That really helped me a lot with breaking down questions and being able to clearly understand. Like, it breaks down the questions. It gives you a little animated video to make you understand even more. And it tells you it gives you an explanation for the right answer and for the wrong answers. So it's really, really good. I would definitely recommend that. If you're having trouble with breaking down questions, use that. I will also say, if you have taken this test more than once, try to see what you can do to change your studying. Because with me, I didn't change anything studying, but I did a lot more questions. And I will say the questions helped me more than anything, because it's really about your critical thinking. Like, the NBCOT isn't about just knowledge. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it, then it's useless. So I would say do a lot of questions, and get the tutoring with the Kim from the Missing Piece OT, and you should be fine. But like I said, you guys can reach out to me. And again, I just want to thank God, my family, and my friends, because it took a village. It wasn't an easy challenge, but I'm happy that I went through it, and I would do it all over again, even knowing that I wouldn't pass the first 2 times. I would do it all over again just so I can get closer to God, because like I said, I haven't been depressed since, because I know fear, depression, and anxiety is not of God, so I don't claim it, and I don't feel it anymore. When I find myself getting to that place, I listen to my gospel music. I take myself back to a place of peace with God, and I just feel like a weight has been lifted over my shoulder. This cloud that I used to have hanging over me is no longer there. So like I said, if you guys need help, I'm here. I'm here to mentor anyone who needs mentoring. Look, if you need just someone to talk to about this test because you're feeling frustrated and you feel like you're not getting where you need to be, I'm also here. And that's it. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you got this far, like, comment, and subscribe. And tell a friend, tell a friend, to tell a friend that you told a friend to tell a friend to watch me. Subscribe to me. Thank you. Bye.